Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar RV. A major shift is underway. Hello everyone and welcome back to Iraqi Dinar RV, the go-to source for reliable updates and expert insights into the ever-evolving world of currency revaluation. In today's critical episode, we're diving into one of the most talked-about topics right now: the possibility of the Iraqi dinar transitioning from a fixed exchange rate to a floating system. This comes on the heels of a major statement from Frank 26, whose remarks are making waves across the IQD and VND investment community. Whether you're a seasoned investor or new to this journey, the information we're sharing today could dramatically influence your financial strategy. Let's take a deep dive into what a float would mean, how it compares to a fixed rate, and what you need to do to stay ahead of this developing situation. Understanding the float versus fixed rate debate. If you're new to currency investing, you may wonder what floating versus fixed even means. A fixed exchange rate is when a country's central bank sets its currency to a specific value, often pegged to the US dollar, and maintains that rate. This provides stability, but limits the currency's flexibility on the global stage. On the other hand, a floating exchange rate allows the market to determine the currency's value. In this system, the dinar's price would fluctuate based on factors like supply and demand, foreign investment, and Iraq's economic performance. Frank 26 recently hinted that a controlled float could be implemented sooner than most anticipated. This signals a massive shift in Iraq's monetary policy and could be a stepping stone toward full economic integration with global markets. Why? This update is so important right now. Why are Frank 26's comments resonating so strongly in May 2025? Because Iraq is at a tipping point. Over the past few years, the nation has made substantial economic progress. Oil production is up, international trade is expanding, and new banking laws have modernized financial operations. The conditions that once kept Iraq from floating its currency may now be resolving. Internal reports suggest the Central Bank of Iraq might allow a monitored float, keeping the dinar within a certain range to prevent erratic price swings. If true, this cautious but progressive approach could offer a window of opportunity for IQD holders. Frank 26's controlled float theory. Explained Frank 26 didn't simply speculate. He laid out what appears to be a strategy. Iraq might introduce a modest initial exchange rate, possibly around $1.70, and allow the market to push it higher based on demand, reserves, and economic health. This is not the sudden revaluation, RV, many had expected, but it's a realistic and potentially more sustainable approach. His comments have shifted the conversation from speculation to strategic positioning. Investors now have a potential roadmap, allowing them to plan exit strategies and reinvestment opportunities more wisely. Iraq's economic fundamentals are finally aligned. This discussion isn't happening in isolation. Iraq has recently passed key economic milestones. GDP is rising, foreign currency reserves have surpassed $100 billion, inflation is under control, and debt levels are improving. These are critical indicators central banks look for before altering monetary policy. Frank 26 suggests that these economic improvements are no accident. They're part of a deliberate plan to prepare the dinar for international legitimacy. Moving to a floating system would prove Iraq is confident in its ability to compete in global markets. What this means for IQD holders. For those holding Iraqi dinar, a controlled float offers a promising outlook. Instead of a sudden spike, you may see a gradual but steady appreciation in value. This method gives investors time to evaluate each stage of the rate increase and make smart decisions about when to exchange. Imagine the dinar starting at $1.70 and slowly climbing toward $3 or more over time. While slower than a full RV, this phased increase is easier to manage and may be more realistic. Frank 26 emphasizes the need for patience, planning, and professional guidance. Vietnam may follow suit. The Vietnamese Dong is also drawing attention. Frank 26 hinted that if Iraq's float proves successful, Vietnam could adopt a similar strategy. With Vietnam's economy booming and trade agreements multiplying, a floating dong could steadily rise, backed by solid fundamentals rather than speculation. Currently trading around 1515 VND per USD, the dong has room to grow. A float would allow it to respond to economic forces, just like the dinar. Together, these two currencies could reshape regional currency dynamics. Banks are quietly preparing. Frank 26 also touched on developments in the U.S. banking sector. According to his sources, institutions like Chase and Wells Fargo are no longer treating IQD and VND as fringe topics. They've started implementing structured protocols for currency exchanges. Walk-in service has reportedly ended, replaced by appointment-only systems due to increased demand. This shows that institutional players are preparing behind the scenes, a strong sign that these currencies are entering the mainstream conversation. RV versus float. Know the difference. Let's clear the air. An RV, revaluation, is a one-time, significant upward adjustment in currency value, while a float allows gradual market-driven growth. Frank 26 believes Iraq may use a float as a transition tool, possibly leading to a future RV after stability is ensured. If true, this would provide multiple exchange opportunities over time, not just one. It also gives you the chance to monitor market trends, hold or exchange incrementally, and strategize based on evolving data. What should you be doing now? Start by reviewing your holdings. Make sure your IQD and VND are securely stored and well documented. Contact your local banks and ask about their foreign exchange procedures. Some branches may already have systems in place. Don't wait until the last minute. Also, consider consulting a tax advisor or wealth strategist who understands foreign currency gains. If you're holding significant amounts, it's crucial to have a financial plan ready, whether you decide to exchange early or wait for higher rates. Stay sharp and avoid scams. As excitement grows, so will misinformation. Frank 26 warns investors to avoid hype, false rates, and unauthorized exchanges. Stick with official bank updates and credible analysts. Your investment deserves better than risky shortcuts. A community on the rise. One of the most inspiring elements of this journey is the strength of the IQD and VND community. We're not just investors, we're a global network of informed, strategic thinkers. Share your thoughts, ask questions, and support one another. Together, we navigate with clarity. Final thoughts. The new era is here. This is more than just a financial update. It's a signal that real change is unfolding. Iraq and Vietnam are stepping onto the world stage, and their currencies may soon reflect that. Whether the path involves a float, an RV, or a combination of both, what matters is that we're moving from speculation to strategy. You've waited, researched, and remained patient. Now it's time to act wisely. Follow the central banks. Stay connected. Be prepared. The new financial chapter has begun, and you're right at the heart of it.